So, I am on my way to have my hair coloured. Yay! How exciting. So, we did a little Transformation Tuesday yesterday. So, we're going to have a kind of like what the fuck happened Wednesday. I'd hope it's not what the fuck happened bad things, because I'll be really upset if I ruin my hair. I know it doesn't look great at the moment. It's a bit like I just dragged myself out of bed because I did. So that's fine. But yes, I was just thinking, I've just been having a conversation with my mum. She was in a meeting last night, and they were talking about having like a bigger meeting for like the whole area, like all the whole team. And they were saying, oh, shall we have refreshments? And mum said, and someone said, yes, I think we should have, we normally have like sort of some snacks and some wine and stuff. And mum was like, well, I think more tea and coffee. And they were like, oh, no wine? I was like, well, when you think of refreshments, you kind of normally, I would think of tea and coffee, and it's a meeting. So I'm not entirely sure wine is appropriate. And it's only a few hours. And if you can't sort of cope with a few hours out without a glass of wine, what the fuck? And most people will have been driving to this meeting, so you know it's not helpful for them either, because it encourages them to drink drive. Oh, and everyone went very quickly from, oh, I do like a glass of wine, and I do have a glass of wine in the evening, to, oh yes, well no, I don't drink very much, of course, I don't drink often. And it just made me laugh to think how quick people are to sort of be influenced by other people's opinions, and if they feel like they're being judged. So like they obviously felt like mum was saying, I don't think we should be encouraging drinking at a meeting, and is it really necessary? Which she was saying that, quite rightly so. And they were all very quick to suddenly go, oh yes, well of course I agree, I don't drink very often. And it's like, if you feel you have to kind of justify or defend or I don't know what the other word is that I'm looking for, there's a better word, can't think of it, the fact you're drinking or your habits around alcohol, maybe it's time to question your relationship with booze. And if you genuinely don't drink often and enjoy the odd glass of wine socially, then you shouldn't feel like you've got to go, oh well of course I don't drink often, of course I don't, because like twitching at the same time because you're fucking lying. But, you know, I don't think, I used to kind of, I was one of those that would go, oh, well, I don't drink much. And if I do drink, it's socially, and, or I might have one too many on occasion, but not very often, and, oh, I don't really get hangovers, and, you know, I was one of them, and we all know that people that kind of do that are lying a bit to themselves more than anything. Because if you don't drink often and you aren't sort of interested in drinking at times that are probably a bit inappropriate to drink, you wouldn't bring it up, you wouldn't suggest it. I mean, who in their right mind would suggest wine as a refreshment in the middle of a meeting? No, I don't think so. I think that's not healthy, and unwise and unhelpful and just a bit stupid. And I say this as a person who previously was incredibly stupid. It is the sort of thing I would have suggested. In fact, I believe it is exactly what I suggested at one point in one of my previous office jobs, when I had like beer o'clock Friday or something, where like the beer fridge would come out in the office at 4 o'clock. And that's all very well and good, but you know, you got to drive home at 5, haven't you? So how do we think that's happening when you've been down in beers for a fucking hour? Not clever. So, you know, I think if you feel like you have to, if you feel like you might need to question your relationship with alcohol, then you definitely do. If it even enters your mind to think, maybe that wasn't the best decision, or maybe I drank a bit too much, or I got a bit out of my face last night, better not, maybe that's happening a bit often, or, you know, anything like that, then it's probably time to take a step back and think about it a bit. I know this, again, I will say it again, I know this because I was this person and I didn't take a step back. I hit the fuck it button and just carried on, and consequently lost 20 years of my life. So if you are in your early 20s and you are drinking to excess and drinking at home by yourself and drinking more than your friends when you go out, or starting to get little lost pieces of the evening, question it. Think about it and think, how would I feel if I couldn't drink? If I physically couldn't drink, how would that make me feel? And if you get a bit panicky and think, well, I can't go out without drinking, and I don't want to, I'm not comfortable, it's time to force yourself to do it. Because it's not healthy to feel like you have to drink socially, and it's definitely not healthy to feel like you have to drink when you're by yourself. That is a real problem. And I know it's all about sort of winding down at the end of a long day and, oh, it helps me relax. Well, meditate, do some yoga, have a cup of tea, do anything, watch a movie, a funny movie, or some stand-up comedy, or something else to help you relax. Because drink does not help you relax. It pours gas on your anxiety, it fucks with your sleep, and I'm afraid 1 leads to 2, and 2 leads to 5, and if you're like me, 5 leads to 500. So I've rambled a little bit here and gone off on a bit of a rant, which is not unusual, let's face it. But I'm basically saying, don't get caught in the whirlpool of the drink culture. Try to take a step back, look at it from another person's perspective, and think, if you were your best friend, or your sister, or your brother, or your wife, or your husband, or whatever, or your daughter, or your son, would you be comfortable about their relationship with alcohol? Would you think that they had a functional, healthy relationship with alcohol? If there is such a thing. I don't know if there is such a thing. Personally, being a person that has drunk to excess, being a person that has drunk normally at the beginning, and then a person that has drunk to excess, and a person that has used drugs, what one might term recreationally, and then to excess, I would kind of question whether there is such a thing as a healthy relationship with drugs or alcohol, and if they're necessary. I don't personally believe they're necessary. I don't. I think it is asking for trouble to go out and get shit-faced every weekend. It's asking for trouble. And it kind of develops a pattern in your brain, and it forms like what's the word I'm looking for? I've lost my fucking words again. Pattern, yeah, it forms a pattern basically, and it's a habit. It forms a habit, and once you're in that habit, it's really difficult to break habits. It's easier to form a new habit than it is to break a bad habit that you have cultured over sort of weeks, months, days, years. So instead, just don't drink. Just don't drink. There are so many nice alcohol-free beverages. So many. And I am not one for zero alcohol wine and beer and stuff. I'm not one for that. Because as an addict, I'm not one for them. If you have never had a poor relationship with sort of drink, then by all means go for the alcohol-free wine and stuff. But I can't, for me anyway, I think for me, if I was to be drinking alcohol-free, which is not actually alcohol-free, it's just low alcohol, wine and beer and stuff, that I think would be a step through a gateway that it would lead me down a path, I think, because I think it's psychological, and I realise that you want to join in and you want to be seen as sort of having a beer with your mates, but I don't know why. It's your thinking that makes you feel like you need to be drinking beer or wine to be relaxing or to be around your friends, to be socialising. If it's your friends making you feel that way, then get new friends. And if it's you making you feel that way, you need to address your thinking. Because it shouldn't matter what you're drinking. It shouldn't matter if you're sitting with a cup of tea or a glass of water, or what's going on there? That looks exciting. Some sort of picket line. Ooh. So yes, basically I have proper rambled for nearly 13 minutes about a great deal of nonsense. There are some grains of truth in there though. Sift them out if you can. Basically, what I'm saying is, don't drink too much. Preferably don't drink at all. Definitely don't do drugs. And, yeah, try and have some water. Drink your water. Hydrate, babes. Hydrate. I will leave it there. And when you see me again, I will have different hair. Thank God, because this is a fucking state. But yes, it will be a different colour as well, which is very exciting. Yay!